So, moving on to the Avengers-Age of Ultron itself. It has a whole bunch of new characters that are being introduced, and of course new actors playing them. One of the characters is going to be Quicksilver, who is played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. Ali, what are your thoughts on Alan Taylor Johnson playing Quicksilver?
Well, I'm actually Quicksilver is actually pretty new to me because even though I'm a fan of the X-Men franchise, I never I knew that I did know that Magneto had children, but I didn't know their names and stuff like that. But going on to Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Quicksilver, I will freely admit I'm not a huge fan of him because I've only seen uh, the Kick-Ass films with him in it, and I'm not saying it's because he's a bad actor or anything like that. I just never really clicked with the Kick-Ass films. Uh, but because I'm an Avengers fan, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and see what he can do uh, in this franchise.
Graham, do you have any thoughts on Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Quicksilver?
Uh, I think he's a decent enough actor, and any role in the Avengers or most of these movies, well, most of the roles don't require a great depth of acting, to be quite honest. So I think it's more down to the script he's given and the part he has to play, rather than whether he's capable of doing it.
And you have to remember it is also Joss Whedon directing, and I have complete faith that Joss Whedon can get the best performance out of any of his actors. But I freely admit I am a Joss Whedon fanboy, so I am slightly biased when it comes to that. But personally, I think Aaron Taylor Johnson he's an okay actor. He's not fantastic. I really like the Kick-Ass franchise, unlike Ali, but I love the Kick-Ass comics as well. Uh, I loved Aaron Taylor Johnson in Savages. I thought he was very good in that. As for being, he was in Godzilla. Wasn't a big fan of his performance in Godzilla, I have to say.
And we all know how that panned out that film, don't we?
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah,
but that's three movies of his that I really like him in, and then one movie where I'm like, nah. But to be fair, I don't think the role in Godzilla required him to do a lot, but I just felt it should have required him to do more. So it's possibly not his performance I dislike so much as the character I thought was a bit shite. But so I think he could do it. Of course, the issue with Quicksilver is that he is going to be compared massively to Quicksilver from X-Men Days of Future Past, and in
but
X-Men
it's the
Days of
same
Future
person though, so of course.
yeah, but in X-Men Days of Future Past, they have the advantage that they can actually have him as Magneto's son. They can't have that in the Avengers movie. They can't even call him a mutant, so I think they're calling him a miracle or something. I don't know if he's actually going to have been born with his powers like mutants are, or if he's going to have possibly been given them through the use of Loki's scepter or something. But we will move on. Playing Quicksilver's sister, the Scarlet Witch, is Elizabeth Olsen. Scarlet Witch in the comics has the ability to manipulate reality. She cannot fully control her ability, which makes her incredibly powerful and incredibly dangerous. Uh, and she also has the ability to fire scarlet energy beams. So do you know much of Elizabeth Olsen? You seen many of her performances, Ali?
No, I'm actually cheating a little bit and looking up to see who she is. Because I don't know a lot of her work.
Fair enough. Well, we'll move
She
on
is
to
actually
Graham in the meantime. Graham, have you seen much from her?
I have to confess, I haven't. I know
That
she's
actually makes
sis,
three of us
sis,
then. Like, all three of us
she
have
is
not seen
actually the
much from
young
her at
she,
all.
she is actually the younger sister of Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen.
I,
So
I
there you
know
go.
I
There's a
know
little
them. They
bit.
were two of a kind.
Yeah, don't worry, Ali. I can read the Wikipedia entry too.
Is that what you're doing? You're looking at Wikipedia. Well, the only
Yeah.
thing I know for a fact
Well,
I
did you know
have
that
seen
she
her
starred in Godzilla?
Yeah, I do. She played Aaron Taylor Johnson's wife. That's what I was saying. That is the only movie I know for a fact I've seen her in. And to be honest, I didn't think she was that great in it, the same as Aaron Taylor Johnson. But that's possibly again just the way the character was written, as opposed to her performance. But seeing as none of us can really comment on her as an actress, we'll move over. Playing Ultron himself, we have James Spader, who, well, I believe we all know James Spader. He starred in Stargate, uh, Boston Legal, The Secretary, Crash. He's quite a weird guy. I know he's won a handful of
And he always
Emmys.
goes.
He's won a
He goes
handful of
for
Emmys. He is a good
the
actor.
envelope parts now.
He what?
He always goes for the pushing the envelope parts now, as what I've seen, because he's in a TV series actually, isn't he, called the Blacklist, and it's quite a edgy TV series.
I haven't seen it, I have to say, but I have seen a lot of him over the years, and he is a good actor, but he's quite strange. But I've got to say that
He
could be
always
perfect
plays
for
eccentric
Ultron.
characters.
He does. But I mean, from the trailer of Age of Ultron, he sounds fantastic. He sounds menacing. And Ultron himself looks like the villain I've been looking forward to seeing. So my thoughts on James Spader are all positive just now. Certainly don't have a reason for them not to be positive. What about you guys? You think James Spader's a good casting choice?
I think
I'll,
all they need to do is cast an actor with a decent voice for it, because I don't believe we'll actually even see him in the film, will we?
Nah, we won't actually
no,
see
we won't.
him as a person. And speaking of not seeing someone, the next person who's in the movie, they haven't announced his character, is Andy Serkis, who, of course, has basically made a career from acting where you don't see him. What with playing Gollum and Caesar. Um, but he's actually not going to be motion captured. He is actually going to be a live action character, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing him act as opposed to seeing him CGI'd. But we don't know who he's going to be. It's suspected he's going to be a villain called Claw, who is a Black Panther villain. But whether or not he will be is anyone's guess. But he's an Oscar-winning actor, so I don't think there's an issue with Andy Serkis being in the movie, whether we see him or not. What do you guys think? Graham?
I think it would be.
Ali, go for it. You started talking.
No, Graham can go. It's fine.
I agree with what Ryan said.
Okay, good comment, Graham. Ali?
I think it'll be quite a treat for a lot of us, because, to my knowledge, he actually hasn't had full face screen time since his own face since the Buck and Hair, which was back in 2010. Everything else has been CGI or animated, so it would be quite a nice wee treat to see Andy give his full performance,
actually be
live
in it.
action.
I think that's the issue with the likes of Lord of the Rings and the Planet of the Apes films, is while Andy Serkis is fantastic as the characters, we don't actually know how much of it he's doing himself and how much of it the special effects guys are adding in afterwards.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'd actually like to see him put on a full performance without any of the motion capture stuff. But right, next we have Paul Bettany, or Paul Bettany. I don't know how you say it. Graham, you any idea?
Bettany, definitely Bettany.
Okay, well he will be playing Vision and Jarvis, or voicing Jarvis. But he's voiced Jarvis from the first Iron Man movie. It's just we're actually going to get to see him as a robot in this one, which the Vision is, or at least in the comics, Vision was created by Ultron to help Ultron wipe out the Avengers and Earth, but of course Vision actually turns good and becomes an Avenger himself. So he'll be voiced by Paul Bettany, like I say, who's done Jarvis from the get-go. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing him do something. Although I've got to be honest, I'm not a big fan of him as an actor. I just don't think he's very good. But
Oh, you didn't like Wimbledon?
I didn't
That
like
man,
what?
that was amazing. Wimbledon.
I never
Oh, it was
actually
so
saw
good.
Wimbledon, I've got to say. I'm going more
Lucky
along
you.
likes of Priest and the Da Vinci Code and other things I've seen him in that I just didn't particularly like him in. So, but Wimbledon sucked, did it?
Oh my god. There's rom-coms and then there's that.
Fair enough. Well, Ali, have you seen Wimbledon?
I've seen it in parts, and all I've really seen is Kirsten Dunst flex her body at being a tennis player. So that's the only thing that done it for me. Other than that, no.
Okay, well,
What, Paul Bettany flexing as a tennis player didn't get it for you?
the final actor I want to talk about who's been in it is Thomas Kretschmann as Baron von Strucker. Thomas Kretschmann, I was actually not familiar with what he's done, so I looked him up. IMDb'd him, and it turns out the guy has been in a lot of movies that I have seen. He was in King Kong, he was in Wanted, he was in Blade 2, he was in Next, he was in Valkyrie, he was in The Pianist. The guy has done a lot, but I've seen loads of films with him in it, and yet he is just not stuck in my head at all. At any
He's very much a
point.
German actor. He plays German roles in every film and acts in Germany a lot rather than going to Hollywood.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, he's still been in a lot of movies I have seen, but I genuinely had to look him up. I didn't know who he was, and then I'm like, I've seen so much with him in it. So I don't think it's a particularly good sign that he just doesn't seem to be very memorable to me. But who knows? Hopefully, again, they'll give us a good villain, and we saw him briefly at the end of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So fingers crossed, Baron von Strucker turns out to be a good villain. Who, of course, he's a member of Hydra, because why would they have a German who's not a member of Hydra? But he's a
And he was responsible for creating Black Widow, was he not, or something? I'm sure I read that somewhere.
It varies where you on the comic and everything. In some of them it was Baron Zemo. It's really changed, really depending where you look. A lot of it was just the Russians. It wasn't even Hydra. It just depends on the continuity. You know what comic books are like. They change continuity
So much.
constantly. So, but he may be responsible for it in the movie. That would make sense. Apparently we're going to get a bit more about Black Widow's past in the movie, so that could certainly fit into it if that is the case.
Yeah, according to what I read, it said that in World War II, Strucker was supposed to be the head of Hitler's Death Head squadron, and he was sent to Madripoor to help the Han ninja cult transform young Natasha Romanoff into their master assassin.
Where are you reading that?
Where do you think?
Wikipedia again, okay. Does it say anything about Baron von Strucker and his death pore virus, I think it's called?
Probably, but this page is very long. Do you really want to sit around and wait for me?
No, I don't. But yeah, he in the comics has the ability, I think it's called the death spore virus, but he holds this virus in his body and he can release it at any time, and it apparently keeps him young, and it really doesn't make any sense. So if they decide not to give him any powers at all in the movie, I won't be complaining about that. Is there anything that you think Avengers-Age of Ultron should avoid? Anything that you think they really shouldn't do?
I don't know. It's a pretty hard one to think about there, because I know from watching the trailer with the Iron Man fighting the Hulk, it is going to be one hell of a film. I'm just looking forward to the Easter egg at the end of the film to see how they're going to catapult it to being the next phase is obviously
That's funny. Out the entire
Ant-Man.
movie, you're most looking forward to the end credits scene.
Yeah,
So,
I am actually.
That's
Yeah.
worrying.
I personally think what this movie needs to avoid is something that has been complained about, specifically, like mostly in Spider-Man movies. They complained about it in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. It was definitely an issue in Spider-Man 3, and that is feeling like it has too many villains. I know at some point, like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are going to turn good. They're not going to be considered the villains for the entire movie. But any other movie we've seen that has 3 villains, it gets complained about. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2, people complained about Rhino as a villain and how he took up too much space. He was in one scene at the start and one scene at the end. They complained about Harry Osborn being the villain. Again, he wasn't the villain through the majority of it, he was just villain in one scene. The main villain was Electro. So even when that film focuses specifically on one villain, and then just has the other 2 kind of drop into it, it still got complained about for feeling like there was too many villains. And I really hope that doesn't happen with the Avengers film. We have 2 villains, we don't. We have obviously Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, we have Baron Zemo, and we're going to have Ultron, and we're going to have the Vision.
Baron Zemo, isn't it?
Not Baron Zemo, sorry, Baron von Strucker. And we're going to have the Vision, who I'd assume is at least a villain to start with before he turns to help the Avengers. I could be wrong on that, but that's 5 possible villains at one point in the movie. That's far more villains than we've seen in any other superhero movie ever. So I really hope that it doesn't feel too crowded.
Yeah.
I really want to see it end with issues between them. I don't want there to be issues and then them get patched up. I want them to end on a really bad note. I want this movie to be a downer. I want this to be the Empire Strikes Back of superhero movies. I want fucking Han getting frozen carbonite and Luke getting his hand cut off and finding out his dad is a dickbag. That is what I want to see happen in this movie. Graham, what would you like to see happen?
I'd like to see a final battle on the sea.
I don't think Namor's in this one.
Oh, I just mean, so many Marvel movies now, it's a big battle in the air, things flying around and smashing into the ground. It'd be a bit of a change to see a battle in the open ocean.
Okay, well, we do know there are ships in the movie. And they
Well, that's a promising start.
are inside these ships at some point. You saw that in the trailer. So who knows? Possibly we will get a sea battle.
Well, that'll be good.
Yeah. Ali, anything you'd
Yeah.
like to see? Anything else you'd like to see?
No, I'm looking forward to hopefully being a kick-ass film, and I'm looking forward to see where they go from here.
Moving on to Phase 3, which movie would you like to see most from Phase 3 and why? And we will start with you, Ali.
I am most looking forward to seeing the sequel, Thor 3, because I want to find out all the details of how Loki managed to possess Odin's form. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that whole trilogy plays out. But I'm also looking forward to seeing Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Infinity Wars parts 1 and 2.
So you're looking forward to seeing it all. But mostly
Yeah.
Thor. Mostly Thor. No,
Mostly Thor,
I'm the
yeah.
same. I am actually looking forward to seeing all the movies. Because like I say, so far they've all been of a very high caliber. Graham, which of the movies are you most looking forward to?
Well, I'm surprising myself by saying this because I'm not a big Captain America fan, but I would have to say Civil War. Because you've got it's as close to the Avengers as you're going to get, apart from the Avengers, because it's going to have Iron Man in it and Black Widow and Black Panther as well. All the black folks are in there, and only one of them's actually black. But okay. Well, yeah, I'm just interested to see what they do. I know Civil War is a very famous comic book.
It is. I would actually have to agree with you, Graham. It is. I would have to say Captain America: Civil War myself. Again, because you get a lot of characters in it. It will obviously focus on Captain America. I would certainly assume that anyway. What with it being a Captain America movie. The comic mostly focuses on Captain America, and then Iron Man sort of the secondary character. The movie will probably be the same, but it has a whole bunch of characters, a lot of heroes, and the best part is we get heroes fighting heroes. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far has done all the heroes very well. And like I say, it's the villains I have the main problem with. In this one, we're just taking the villains out of it, and we're just having good guys fight good guys, and they've built all their good guys up very well. So that's a very exciting prospect to me. I'm not sure they'll stick entirely with the comic. In fact, I'm actually sure they won't stick entirely with the comic, but as long as it's along the same lines, I think it could be fantastic, and it could be the best. I was going to say best solo film to date, but it's not really a solo film, although it's under the Captain America heading. But like Ali said, I'm looking forward to all of their movies, really. I'm looking forward to the next Guardians film, because I loved the first one. I'm looking forward to Thor Ragnarok. That could be one of two things. It could either be as in the death of the Asgardians, or there's also a clone of Thor in the comics, like a cybernetic clone, who's called Ragnarok, so it could be either of those things. Either way, I'm looking forward to finding out. I'm looking forward to seeing a Doctor Strange movie. I'm looking forward to seeing Black Panther. I'm looking forward to seeing Captain Marvel. Something people have been asking for a long time in Black Panther and Captain Marvel. They've been wanting a black superhero and a female superhero, and Marvel are delivering. Maybe
Already
taking
got Falcon, though.
We do already have Falcon, but they're wanting a black-led superhero
I've
movie,
watched
not a secondary character. They want
That's
someone to
that's
actually
what
lead.
Blade was, though.
Yeah, but Blade's not in
Blade
the
was
Marvel
a-
Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, but it's still classed as a black male lead, though.
He was, yeah, but again,
And
well, what year was Blade
12
Trinity
years a
released?
slave has got black metal. That's what we're looking for.
Are we just bringing up black-led films now? Is that what we're doing? We're just
That's
going
what
to
it sounds like.
yeah, we're just going to name a movie where a black guy was the main star. Because I don't think that's the point of it. Let's just name movies where
Right
women
on.
are the main star. 100 points if you can get a movie where there's a black woman who's the main star.
The Help. Yes, give me my points, bitch.
So guys, thanks for joining us here at the Movie Geeks Point of View. I hope you have stuck with it, even though we have experienced some technical difficulties and crying babies. But I have been Ryan Martin. He's been Ali McLaren.
good night, guys. Take care.
And the guy you can't see has been Graham Smith.
Can't see me, but I'm giving the finger to the screen right now.
Again, hope you come back and join us in the future. We will be doing an episode specifically on Spectre next time, and in a couple of weeks' time, right before the Oscars, we're going to try and get a Oscar video up as well, where we discuss all the Oscar movies and who we believe should win the main nominations. We're not going to go through everything because there are a lot of categories, but we will bounce through the main ones. Once again, thanks for joining us. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the thumbs up button if you liked it. If not, don't click the thumbs down, it's just mean. We will catch you later. Goodbye.